How are we doing, everybody? Welcome to VBA Studios for this semi-final matchup between Rebellion and the Great Lakes Grimmsnarls. My name is Sam number 2 and I am your host today. I also go by RubyT Pokemon and also by my previous name of Sam number 1. Now, this is an intriguing matchup between Lucien and Sam number 1 over here, Sam Wakeman. Both of these teams finished outside the top 2 in their divisions this season, but since the playoffs have been going really strong. Now, if you enjoy the commentary and you like the dulcet tones of my beautiful English voice, you can follow me, RubyT Pokemon, on YouTube and on Twitch, and maybe I'll even have like a little graphic that comes up if Theo lets me keep in this shameless plug. Thanks, Theo, I love you, thank you very much. Anyway, on with the show. So, two very evenly matched competitors here, and we're about to get our first look at the teams. Wakeman has kept very much to a strong core, as has Lucien, I think, throughout most of the season. And we see both of those represented here. So we have Cinderace, Azumarill, Reuniclus, Hitmonchan, Crustle and Drampa on Wakeman's side, coming up against the Choice Scarf Dragonite, Silk Scarf Kangaskhan, Passion Berry Arcanine, Choice Band, Skuntank, Assault Vest Blastoise and Focus Sash Whimsicott. Now, immediately we can see on Lucien's end, it looks fairly offensive, right? We've got 3 Pokemon that can't protect straight away. However, the Choice Band Skuntank could come in really useful here against both the Azumarill and the Reuniclus. The Pashu Berry on Arcanine makes me think Lucien really did consider the Azumarill a lot in his prep. And I think that's probably a wise thing. I think it's a really strong Pokemon overall into his team, knowing how much he's used the Dragonite this year. So I think he could be pretty sure it was going to come. The double fake out on Lucien's end is also kind of a nice touch, I think. Now, outside of the Scarf Dragonite, the Cinderace obviously has the speed advantage over a lot of Lucien's team. The Whimsicott, I presume, will be carrying Tailwind. The Arcanine, again, I also will presume will be Intimidate. So it looks like Lucien's kind of got his 4 ready to go here. I think whatever happens, I suspect that game 1 on Lucien's end might be quite an offensive, showing. Looking at the 4 that he's selected, I mean, it's gonna be pretty wild. So, looks like we're about to get into it. Remember, if you're not subscribed to the VBA channel, the VBA Studios channel, make sure you do that, and also go and follow the VBA Studios on Twitch as well, because you should. And I think also there's VBA TikTok. I don't have TikTok, but yeah, go and follow them there too. Okay. So, from Wakeman's end, we're going to be seeing the Reuniclus and the Crustle. This is a really interesting lead here, because despite the Kangaskhan obvious fake out on this side and the potential of like a, from Wakeman's end, a Dragonite setup, I'd be interested to see a kind of double setup attempt. Knowing you're going to get a fake out on one end, could you maybe Shell Smash and Trick Room and see which one kind of comes out on top? Either way, you're in kind of a nice spot. Obviously, if you don't get faked out, not quite going to work, but my presumption would be Wakeman's are going to go for a Trick Room here, and Lucien's locked in pretty quick, so let's see how this one plays out. Dragonite comes back, and looks like Blastoise is coming out, giving Lucien the ability to fake out on turn 2. Reuniclus goes for a Protect. Will we see a double Protect out from Sam's side here? If so, a really nice call from Lucien. However, the Crustle does not Protect, and it does get a Rock Blast off into the Blastoise slot. Rock Blast is a very cool tech for classically Focus Sash Pokemon, or in this case, Pokemon with multi-scales such as the Dragonite. It does manage to land a 4-hit, bringing Blastoise down to just above half HP here. We obviously know that Blastoise is Assault Vest, so there's no chance of a Berry bringing that back, so it would be in range of a 5-hit Rock Blast from Crustle. We see the Blastoise not opting for a fake out here on Lucien's end, which I think is an interesting decision, because he has the ability immediately to stop Trick Room now and maybe fire off an attack into the Reuniclus, unless he predicts that there may be a switch out. The Skuntank continuing to look pretty good here, obviously in terms of removing the Reuniclus. However, if there's a ground move being carried by the Crustle, it may be maybe slightly more risky. I don't think you want to get too much damage on the Skuntank this early, but we shall see. Skuntank comes in for the Kangaskhan, the Crustle goes for a Protect, which means the Blastoise School is not going to do anything. Reuniclus is going to be pretty free to, I presume, Trick Room here. Yeah, there we go. So, I think on the balance of things, that turn certainly favours Wakeman. He's made a really strong start in this. However, certainly not the time to count out Lucien just yet. If he can get his positioning right with the the Skuntank and the Fake Outs on the Kangaskhan and Blastoise, I think he could very easily stall out this Trick Room. So Blastoise comes back, and the Kangaskhan is going to come in. Again, I think that's a really nice option. It allows you a bit more freedom next turn with the Fake Out. Psychic comes into the Kangaskhan. It does over half, which is a big hit. And yet the Crustle is carrying a ground move, Stomping Tantrum into a pretty bulky Skuntank, not doing half here. And that Choice Band Crunch is almost certainly going to knock out the Reuniclus, and it does. Also, thanks to Wakeman for choosing Reuniclus, the widely renowned most irritating Pokemon to say. So, particular thanks to Lucian for knocking that out early so I can stop saying Reuniclus. So now, where does Wakeman go from here, I wonder? It is the Azumarill. I presume that's going to underspeed both the Kangaskhan and the Skuntank on this side. I think if you're Wakeman now, your priority's got to be to remove that Skuntank before it can get a Poison Jab off. However, obviously what Wakeman may not realise at the moment is that it is Choice Banded, so it's locked into Crunch. Kind of an interesting thing here. I think you can probably predict a Stomping Tantrum into that Skuntank slot again, or you may look at a double protect on Wakeman's end if he's not confident on which target's going to receive the Fake Out. Obviously a double protect will protect Wakeman from a Fake Out and an attack into one of his Pokemon, but does burn another turn of Trick Room against the team, which is pretty much universally faster than his at the moment, depending on what's in the back. Looking at the heavy Trick Room, I suspect it would be Drampa in the back, but he may be Cinderace as well. I think Light Orb Cinderace does some okay work here in the late game once Trick Room's expired. So, yeah, we see a Protect from Crustle. The Fake Out goes into the Azumarill, which does a lot of damage. That Silk Scarf on the Kangaskhan is such a heavy hitter. It's such a great pickup in low tier Kangaskhan. Really, really rate it. Particularly in non-Dynamax Draft League, it's just so strong. It's even seeing some play in like regular VGC at the moment, right, with its ability to Fake Out Ghost types, which is pretty cool. I know James Beck has used it on a couple of teams. So there we are. Right. Onto this game. So we have the Choice Scarf Dragonite, which obviously is it's gonna be the slowest thing on the field all the time Trick Room is out. I don't suspect Kangaskhan is going to take a hit from either of these Pokemon, even though it's fairly bulky. So it's just about whether or not Lucian thinks he can kind of risk losing both of these Pokemon this turn, which, unless it's Multi-Scale Dragonite, I think he's probably going to do. My suspicion is, as it's Choice Scarf, it's going to be Inner Focus to stop any attack drops onto it. But we're not really sure yet. I guess we're about to find out. So Kangaskhan does go down. Player F comes out to Dragonite. That is almost certainly not multi-scale with the Player F taking it out, which does put Wakeman in a very, very nice spot now. He's up 3-2. He has the ability to kind of try and maneuver this situation to his advantage, right? He's got to deal with this turn of Fake Out, and then all depending on what Pokemon is in the back. If it's a Cinderace in the back, I think he's really, really in a nice spot because he can just come and outspeed everything. If it's something slower, then I think Lucian's still in it. We will see. Lucian, again, so very classically locks in his moves nice and early. Doesn't leave himself too much room to overthink anything. Just locks him in and goes for it from there. So we're going to see a Protect out of the Azumarill. The Fake Out, however, coming into the Crustle. So it's going to be a bit of a dead turn. We get a Fake Out into the Crustle, a Poison Jab goes into the Azumarill, but most importantly for Lucian, the Twisted Dimensions return to normal. So now I still think, in fact, regardless of what Sam has in the back here, I'm pretty sure this is a really, really solid position for him, right? Because the Skuntank's going to KO the Azumarill, but I don't think, unless it's really, really especially offensive, I don't think a Scald from the Blastoise knocks out Crustle in one hit. Presuming it's slow and 252 HP, maybe some special bulk in there as well. I can't see a Scald KOing. So in that case, can you double up on it? Can you Poison Jab and Scald the Crustle to try and take it out? Or do you try and remove the Azumarill and maybe hope for a fish for a burn on the Scald? Azumarill does carry the Aqua Jet. That's not going to do enough to the Skuntank, however, but it does bring it down nice and low. Poison Jab comes out, but that's always KOing Azumarill from this range, I think regardless of a choice band. But Azumarill does go down, and the Scald comes out from the Blastoise into the Crustle. So let's see here. It is enough. That is a crit, okay, yeah, I would be interested to know that calc, because I think here, if Crustle can fire back with an attack there, that really swings momentum of the game, I think. If he can take out one of these Pokemon. It is Dramper, so that is very interesting. Very interesting. I think, yeah, if that Crustle stays alive and takes out one of these Pokemon, I suspect Dramper probably sees it out from here. However, now any attack out of it is going to be double target. If it even survives a double up. Poison Jab with the Choice Band is going to do a lot. I wonder, I know Sam has run Assault Vest Dramper before, but even then I think that's too much damage. That's too much damage on it really to survive anything. Maybe with an Assault Vest we'll see. There's no Yachi Berry, and the Dramper goes down, which means Lucien takes game 1. What a wild game! I think that was a really nice example of two guys sort of playing right at the top of their game, right? Like it swung both ways. It looked like Wakeman had made a really solid start. Then I thought Lucien came back into things quite well. We then even reached a point, I think, where I think that crit matters. I think if the Crustle stays alive, there's a good chance Wakeman cleans that one up. I don't think, presuming he targets the Skuntank, I don't think there's any chance that Blastoise one-hit KOs the Dramper, and I think Dramper picks up anything from that range. So a really close game, really strong stuff from both players. I'll be interested to see if there are any adjustments game 2. From Lucien's end, I think he picked the majority of the right Pokemon, to be honest with you. I think he did a really nice job in pivoting his fake outs, and then not even necessarily using fake out all the time, but just putting himself in a position to be able to assess what Wakeman would probably do, what he would likely do, and make good predictions off of that. All in all, a very even first round. I'll be excited to see what happens here in the second match. So the first thing to note is that Arcanine is going to be coming this turn. Probably, I imagine, suspecting maybe an adjustment from Wakeman, seeing as he did lose game 1. Although, to be honest, I think, does Wakeman really need to adjust? I'm not really sure, but perhaps fearing Hitmonchan's in the focus. Is Hitmonchan in the focus? I think so. So it's not going to be affected by the Intimidate, but the Crustle, Azumarill, and potentially the Cinderace is going to be affected by the Intimidate. And having seen Play Rough and Aqua Jet out of the Azumarill, you can't rule out Belly Drum yet. I don't think we saw a fourth attack, so we definitely can't rule out Belly Drum. This is going to be tense. I think it's going to be really tight. So hold on to your butts and let's see how we go from here. Round number 2, Sam Wakeman versus Lucien, semi-finals of the VBA. Let's check out what leads we're going to see here from these two players. So first up is Wakeman. We're going to see the Azumarill and the Reuniclus. So that would, I think that would look like a really strong lead if it weren't for this Intimidate coming out from the Arcanine. We also know on our end that Arcanine is the Passion Berry. So it's in a surprisingly safe spot here to perhaps fire off, as if it's got a Wild Charge, perhaps it's more supportive with Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, there we go. So I think this is a really free turn here. However, I would probably suspect a double protect out of Wakeman's end. We see the Azumarill protect. Are we going to see a protect out of the Reuniclus here? Yeah, we do. Okay, so the other interesting thing to note, the fake out from Kangaskhan into Azumarill did quite a hefty chunk of damage in that previous game. I wonder how much a double edge would do. He is going to target the Reuniclus here. Looks like it's going to be a double up, a Flamethrower, and double edge into Reuniclus slot, which is pretty hefty. Perhaps suspecting an Azumarill switch. It is an Azumarill switch, and it's going to be Dramper that comes in. So Wakeman really hoping and praying that he gets the Trick Room off here with the Reuniclus. Will Reuniclus, still an annoying name, be able to survive a double up from the Arcanine and the Kangaskhan? Oh, that's going to be tight, but I don't think it's going to survive. The double edge comes in, and yeah, it's enough. It's enough to pick it up. So that Silk Scarf double edge combo, along with the Flamethrower, enough to pick up Reuniclus. And I don't want to call this too early, but I think this is a tough one to come back from for Sam now. That's with both Dramper and Azumarill going to be underspeeding this duo here of Kangaskhan and Arcanine. This is going to be really tough. Interesting to see, did Wakeman maybe bring a different adjustment? Did he bring Cinderace this time? You've got to think he would have probably brought it in at that stage if he did. And yeah, but it's going to be tough, and it's not impossible. You know, we've seen Sam make some really strong plays this season and other seasons before, so I definitely don't count him out of this yet. The Arcanine is carrying Dragon Pulse, which would mean that looking at the Drampa, probably not Assault Vested. I think this could be, yeah, this could spell trouble for the Drampa with no Protect coming out here. Dragon Pulse brings him way down, and it's a crit. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. Sam, the luck's not really falling Sam's way with crits here today, which no one wants to see. Oh well, I think that crit really does matter then, because with the berry, the Chopper Berry, I think there's a good chance that Drampa survives that. I know we've seen big damage out of the Kangaskhan, but obviously that's with a Silk Scarf. So the fighting move, you know, taking away the stab, taking away the boosting item, I think there's a good chance that Drampa survives that turn if it's not for the crit. But I could well be wrong. I do not know the calcs on these. The Pashu Berry coming in there for Arcanine, doing its job, showing just how good Rebellion's Lucian's prep has been this week. I think that's really impressive. So we do see Cinderace. Really interesting. I wondered if we may have seen the Cinderace last turn coming out where the Azumarill did, and then maybe a swap out from Drampa to Azumarill in the other slot, or just giving Lucian something different to target. However, I guess without knowing about the Pashu Berry, the Wakeman's going to presume that Azumarill can pressure the Arcanine quite a lot more than it did, in fact. So, Protect coming out from Kangaskhan here. I could perhaps a fighting move. Yeah, he's thinking there's going to be a fighting move on the Cinderace. If that's a high jump kick coming out of the Cinderace, then that's going to spell big trouble. Blastoise comes in now, a really nice position for Blastoise to come into, just to put the pressure of a Fake Out next turn. The Azumarill goes for the Aqua Jet, which is going to go straight to the Kangaskhan's Protect. And yeah, we do see a high jump kick, so that's going to be a big chunk of damage out of the Cinderace right here. A really good Protect from Lucian, and it just does show, right? Sometimes when you're up ahead and you can kind of make these calls, it's very handy. So this turn, Fake Out's going to come out from the Blastoise, and it looks like it's going to be a switch in for the Kangaskhan slot for the Arcanine, which of course is going to intimidate both of the opposing Pokemon, and just... It's a horrible feeling when you're on the other end of this, right? Because you're just kind of being slowly choked out of the game. It's not a nice way to go, and yeah, I mean, I'd love to say that this one isn't over, but unfortunately I think it is. It's very tough from here. So the Cinderace goes for the Protect, which will give it the normal typing, which I guess is kind of useful up against the Blastoise. Maybe it's carrying Aqua Jet or something like that, which would take it out if it was a Fire type. But the Arcanine now is safely in. It looks like Rebellion's considering just pivoting it out again here. If you're Wakeman, see, now we've seen the Liquidation, I'm pretty sure that there's not going to be a Belly Drum come out of the Azumarill. I think that might be the only way if it were somehow Belly Drum, able to Belly Drum, and hope that Rebellion ties down Cinderace and you can just try and like Aqua Jet your way to victory. But in which case, if that were possible, I guess you need to remove the Blastoise. But yeah, I don't think it is Belly Drum, and I don't think it's going to happen. So Cinderace goes for the high jump kick. Its Libero ability turning it into the fighting type. And it's going to land into the Blastoise, which is a nice target, and that does a big chunk of damage. That would have absolutely have KO'd the Kangaskhan last turn, were able to land. So the School comes out from the Blastoise, it picks up the Cinderace, and it's now Azumarill versus the world. Now, Azumarill looking very cute and pretty there in his little gold ears, but unfortunately, I don't think Azumarill's got enough to bring this home. I would love to be proved wrong. I'd love to see the reverse Azumarill sweep here right at the last minute, you know, real last shot saloon stuff, but I don't think it's going to happen. This content comes in just really kind of putting this to bed. The Aqua Jet not doing nearly enough damage now that the several Intimidates that have been put on the Azumarill are really taking effect, and a Poison Jab is going to wrap this up, presuming it lands. So it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, we have our first VBA finalist of the season. I say first, I don't know which order these are going out in, so this might be the second one. We have our first or second VBA finalist of the season, Lucian, and his team Rebellion. So congratulations to Lucian. A really well played set and a great season, and commiserations to Sam. Number one, Sam Wakeman. I think a little unfortunate for Sam here with the crits. I think both games really affected by that. However, that's the way it goes sometimes. So thank you very, very much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed listening to my my slightly irritating voice, and I hope you'll all come and check out the other semi-final, and I hope also you'll be there to check out the final when it comes. So and I want to say a big thank you to everyone in the VBA for putting this season on. I know how much effort it is for you guys, and we really enjoy it. So thank you so much, guys, and yeah, I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.